go. Interesting. Oh, okay. All right. Time to get some design going. Alright, here we go. Alright, I'm all set up. Let's see, I want to do science design tonight. I finished my blue science design. I'm going to go back to that real quick and reference it. Actually, I'm just going to use the same. What did I have it under? Sandbox. There we go. Alright. So this is what I do with the blue science. Yes. So this is what that looks like. So everything coming from a vertical space. This is tileable so that the steel goes through, the iron goes through, the copper goes through, plastic goes through without any problems. All the pieces move down. There's red signs on the top. Should be engines along the bottom. They're harder to see. There they are. And it all gets delivered to the blue science. Well, the engines are the slowest to start out, but once it's going, this blue science will constantly make blue science. And that's great. I think this should be the way all science is done. Because you create tileability, and the only inputs into the system are the raw materials. So I want to do the same thing that I've just done here. Yeah. And the reason the engine units they'll eventually back up because it takes 10 seconds to make one engine, and I've got 2 of them being made. So 10 seconds to make one engine means that there will always be engines there for the next. So yeah, perfect. So that's the blue science one. So I'm just going to load. No, see lock. There we go. And I'm sure I'm not going to want the same stuff going into here, so certainly not in the same spots. So I'm going to pick these up. And I want to do yellow science, right? Because I think yellow science is the next more difficult one. I mean, red and green don't matter so much. I think the issue with the purple science is sometimes you actually want electric furnaces being made in abundance. And of course, you can always tap into this and get extra out of it if you wanted to. But if you want the same sort of design as the blue strip, you might as well do the same thing with purple science. So, the one that you would want less of sitting on the conveyor belt is probably electric engine unit. So you don't want like a bunch sitting on here. So I'm going to put the electric engine unit as the thing that inserts directly in. And we will want the, this is going to have to move over a little bit. We will want again, the inputs to be vertically coming in through the system. So I don't want to ever, if I can help it, have an input coming in from the top or bottom. Otherwise, this won't tile as tightly. So pipes coming down. So the blue was 2 units tall, mostly because I wanted to not make so many iron pipe and iron gear wheels to supply the engines. But this one might not need to be 2 units tall, although it might need to be anyway. So you got 14 seconds to make one of these. You're going to have 10 seconds to make one of these. So 1 electric engine unit will be able to supply 1 purple science, and then the other would be, is it 10 seconds for one of these? Oh no, it's only 5 seconds. So somewhere down the line in the same vertical space is going to be the furnace, and that will need to reach all the way through purple. If the inputs into the engine are careful enough, we might be able to keep from having, like we did in the blue. I'm just going to place it over here to reference it. Sure, you can make it again, little robots. So right now this has this strip going through the middle, which is effectively making, instead of this being only 3 blocks high for every 1 science, it's 3.5 blocks for every 1 science. So not efficient in space. Not that this is designed meant to be efficient for space. This is for tileability. This is so that you don't have ingredients running around, or mid-level ingredients running around your whole factory. But if we want this to be tighter for purple science, then ideally the furnaces, when they come through, they'll come underneath using undergrounds, the buildings here. That might not be realistic, considering what an electric engine will need as ingredients. This is a base ingredient. For purposes of this, we could consider stone brick a base ingredient. We may want to put a furnace in this system and consider stone brick to be something that we're going to make here. I'm okay with that, and just have stone coming in. Stone brick is useful on lines that might be making concrete or something like that. So that there's a potentiality that you would have stone brick as a base resource in the way that you have iron plates as a base resource. Certainly stone brick as a base is more useful than just stone. There aren't very many recipes that stone goes into. So I might want to just consider stone brick as being an input into the system, along with steel, because both those are, steel is needed in abundance, stone brick is needed in abundance for multiple purposes. Yes, red chips are needed in abundance as well, but one of the downsides of sending red chips all over your factory, is that the distribution of how many red chips you need is always a little off. So I'd rather send plastic, iron, and copper into this factory to make the red chips than actually have red chips come in as a resource. And that's sort of the purpose of this design, so that I can send the base materials in, and red chips are not that. But stone brick kind of is. It's made the same way that iron plates are. You often make the stone brick right where the stone is being pulled up out of the ground and sticking into a furnace. So yeah, I'm arguing with myself, but it's I'm trying to validate the choice there. Alright, so I'm going to pretend like we're not that we are undergrounding this for the moment. So this is coming through here to here, and it would need to get picked up. Oh, I need to. What is the command line for that? Actually, I'm just going to pick this back up. Put it away. I did save those command lines somewhere. Where did they go? Count. There it is. And I want inserter. I do love that. Alright. So this, is there a way to copy the thing then? Yes. Okay. I just want some fast inserters. That's true, I do have it in God mode. It's just quick to click it. Let's see. And one here. So this would be good enough to get the 2 final ingredients in, assuming this has electric furnaces on it. So what else comes into here? We need the engines, green chips, we have the lubricant, engines and green chips. Well, I mean, engines is sort of a duplication of the last one. Engines are actually pretty easy to do. You're looking at, and arguably because I'm making engines again, and I argued myself into doing the engines, having 2 steps or 2 vertical parts to the whole assembly, so it was 7 blocks wide. In order to reduce the amount of space the engines were taking, I would be remiss if I did not do the same on this one. And I had those robots disassemble that, but now I kind of want to look at it again. Oh, fickle world. So this is what's making the engines right here on the left. I mean, that's pretty much as tight as I could possibly get it. Yeah. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to make it come down the middle. And because of it, it probably means I can reduce the amount of space this takes. If I wanted to push the purple in, would I be able to grab from both sides to place onto two of these? Placing this here, and just because it's pretty, no, it's fine. Just end it like that. Alright, and then another engine, because we will need to have 2 of those. and pipes. Is this as efficient as it could be? No, absolutely not. Alright, we want the engines to directly insert. They also need green chips. So the green chips will have to come in underneath. That's fine, there's still plenty of space for it. Because it can come and enter there. Oh, no it can't. So one more over. But that won't pick up from it. This is the problem with the pipes. I can just put an underground in for the pipes if I really wanted to. And then insert here on the edge. No, I can't because I won't be able to reach the underground, because the underground would come from here to here and I'd only be freeing up the center space. Although this is argument for what I just said that I didn't want to do, which was place these here. But I'm already tiling to this level. This means that I would be able to have this like that, and undergrounds like this. Now this is an uncomfortable sort of tiling for me, because I know this is not the two ends of one underground pipe. This is the half of one end and half of another end. But if you tile this, they will automatically connect. And I do that with oil extraction often. I find it to be a pretty nice way to try and get oil extraction going. Sure. It's fine. This can change. So I just want, if those are going to have green chips on them, I just want to pull from there. I'm not going to try and do anything fancy with getting the green, because they're going to be duplicated over here. So I'm not going to try and send the green chips to both of these from one factory. I'm just going to have two green chip factories to the left there. That means this can go here. This can come there. Arguably, these could be placed closer to these assembly machines. There may not need to be a gap between them. That's making engines. Two of those. Right, so now I'm supplying the engines, and of course I have to make the engines, but supplying the engines and the lubricant. For the engines themselves, we're looking at several items going into them. Basically, I'm looking at this construction here. I think I might want to just copy that. And actually, it looks like the green chips will be able to run along the sides. This was fun creating this, because you have, it looks like an underground that's kind of messed up, and yet what it is one is being placed. Oh, these are going to have to move. I'm going to have to change these. Ah! Where is that? There it is. Look at that. So the output of the gear wheels goes onto the underground, and then goes underneath the underground that's carrying the pipes, and then comes back on the other side. It's a very tight way to fit this into the space. I had fun designing that. We'll need this output to come out here. Continue on, and then we will want the green chips. Oh, I guess I can under. Now here's a question. If I place this here, will the iron wheels land on this underground? Let's try that out. I'm going to take these two away and I'm going to put some iron in here. See what happens. No, they do not. And I didn't think they would. I think they only do it if they're on the close one. So that's good. Alright, that's great. So let's put these back in. And we'll put the inserters delivering the future green chips in. And we'll put the inserters for the engines in. So everything's powered still. You're in the way. Eventually, I'm going to just move this over. Let's see. Alright. I made a mistake here. I need the steel plate also to come to these. So I can move all of this to the left one space. I don't know if I'll have enough. That is going the full distance, but I can take this out. If I move all of this to the left one, I can put the steel coming in vertically here, but then I won't be able to insert it in. These could actually stop, but then they might, like if I moved the middle all to the left one. Let's just try that for now. Oh, I want to blueprint it first. Yeah. Just take it apart and put it back together. So if this is one space to the left of where it was, ideally we could get this to be steel. How can we do that without sacrificing? So this would have to move. We'd have to have this here, and we need two of these. I could do the same system. I did the same system I did here with having the underground be here and just having the steel pop up in the middle, which would look like we'll start down here somewhere. We'll come in there and then back out. So we're looking at two pieces. Oops. And then pulling from here to get the steel. Pulling from here to get the engine, pulling from here to get the green chip. Ooh, doesn't work because these are now in the way of the steel continuing up. Oh, but I can put these, I'll put this here and here. They look like they're in the way of each other. There we go. So that'll work, surprisingly. It seems like so much extra space here that I don't need. Oh well, I might come up with a better design than having a splitter there. So this would be steel coming up, Let me go ahead and here, move you over a little bit. I'm going to place those inputs down below where they're going to come in. I should have. All this is going to go down some. There. That's better. Okay. So all of what we want. Regular loader is going to come in from here. There will need to be, so this one and this one are unique so far. They're going to have a starting point that's an underground, which is a little bit annoying design wise, just a little bit. Can you get a loader for pipes? Oh, I didn't even consider that. Let's see, Factorio loader pipes. Let me put sandbox. I mean, can that come from an infinity chest? Let's see. Wouldn't be a loader, it'd be infinite. Liquids are not available in an infinity chest. Let's see. Factorio infinity liquid. Let's see. Creative mode. Let's look up. I should know what they were called. Nope, that's not what I want. Factorio cheat mode commands. We got a list of helpful console commands. Teleport player, increase crafting speed. Looks cool. Set new modifiers to default. Give player item. What is the name of the item? Let's see. Chest. Nope. I'll figure it out. I am smarter than this. Okay, probably not. God mode and sandbox. Let's look at infinite research. Updated console commands. That's still 2016. Enemy modifiers. Map commands. Mod. Let's look at the name of the get item command and see if there's game.player.insert fluid. Crude oil. Oh, that's surface entity. There are no fluid spawners or voids. Use unbarrelers and infinity chests to achieve the same effect. Ah, alright. That's smart. I should have thought of that. So you are emptying the lubricant barrel. and picking up from an infinity chest of lubricant barrels, right? Ah, okay, cool. And then what, you need to discard them? How do I do? Do I just place it in there? Will it just go away? Oh, that's not going away. Move unfiltered items. Ah, there we go. There we are. Perfect. Alright. Alright. That's cool. Ah, but now this is going to be in the way of this loader. Just put it here. So we're looking at what resources is steel? At least, at most, okay, interesting. Alright, steel coming up, lubricant coming up, green chips coming across to here. So that means I want green chips to be made right here. This needs iron coming up. If I have it just simply on a line, I don't have enough space for green chips to move through. Unless I do another underground like I did with this one, which might be the theme of this particular science. So we'd go underground here and underground, and then pick up. And that's going to deliver those in for these engines. That's going to be iron here in the way. The loader for iron. Alright. I can also pick up from this to feed the green chips in this direction. Oh, in reality, the green chips can insert onto here without the need to go any further. So I don't need these undergrounds. If I have this coming out to here from green chips. So I can get rid of this. I don't like it anyway. Where am I? That pulls iron off of this line. Pulls. Right, and I need this to go underground still to reach there. I don't know what's going to happen with that yet. And the last thing will be copper wire going into these. This doesn't need to do it fast. We need 3 copper cables. Well, no, we don't need that many, because really what it comes down to is we need 1 electric engine every 14 seconds, right? That means I have 4 extra seconds to make this. It only needs 2 electronic circuits. So I need 2 electronics every 14 seconds, because again, we're only worried about that. So as long as I make 2 electronic circuits in this amount of time, we're fine. Those can be slow as molasses if we'd like. We want copper coming here. I'm going to make sure I don't want to do anything special with that. So we've got the copper and the iron going in. We've got the circuits going out. So now we've completely supplied. Well, I mean, you guys are in the way, but I'm just going to go under it. Completely supplied the engines, and that leaves us just with the furnaces. Now, arguably, you'd be like, well, look, you just made green circuits here. Why not send those to the red circuits that the furnaces are going to make? No, it's too hard. This is too hard. If you want to do it in this space and this tile ability, you're going to just have to have 2 green circuits being made, 2 sets. And yes, you're barely going to use the capacity of output of this. But if you want this tile ability, if you want this to become something that you can easily just add more of to your factory, you're going to want this right here all together. And you could try and put only one of these in, like right here in the center, but that's going to be ugly. And isn't that arguably a good enough reason not to do it? But yeah, you could technically just have one green chip assembly and output from here onto there and an output onto a line that goes up to there. There's no reason to have 2 other than beauty. It's not like it's going to use a lot more materials, and it's certainly not even going to be holding a lot of. The number of green chips that are going to be on this line is so small compared to the number of green chips that are normally strewn across the factory floor. So this is barely any extra being processed. Now this is not going to use a lot of this copper. This is a very small amount of copper, so we would like to go ahead and use this copper line again, and we're going to be making the furnaces. So I'm going to leave the furnaces like way down here and pick up the copper from this line and send it to the left. And it needs to be going into what? Let's just look at that again. It is going to be red chips, but steel plate. Ooh, there's steel coming down there. It uses a lot though, doesn't it? 10 steel plate, yeah. This only uses 1. But whatever steel that you have supplying the factory that you're creating could potentially just grab a single steel line and split it before it goes into this assembly, with one going up here and the other going up there. But 10 per one of these, and again, you only need one of these every 14 seconds. So that's 10 steel plate every 14 seconds here, and another 1 steel plate here every 14 seconds. So you're looking at 11 steel plate being used every 14 seconds. That is not a very large amount on the line. You'll be able to use a single line to supply several levels of this. Probably all, I mean, you probably don't want 14. I mean, if you want one of these being produced every second, you want 7 purple machines, because it makes 2 every 14. So you need 7 purple to make 1 purple science every second. If you want to double that, you're looking at 14 of these. Even with 14 of these, you're looking at 14 times 11, so 154 steel being used by the factory at a time every 14 seconds. And of course, you can divide by 14 again, so you're just looking at 11 steel per second, and a slow line holds 13. I think it is 13 or something. So a single steel conveyor belt will supply 14 purple science, if I've done my numbers right. Of course, these are assembly machine 2, so it's even more that will be supplied. If they were assembly machine 3, it'd be less, although arguably still 14, because like what 1.25 for yellow assembly machine. All right. So right, and then the other thing that we're going to be making that's complex would be the red circuits. And red circuits are are made from green circuits yet again and copper cable. It's a lot of copper cable and green circuits. But ideally, we'll make copper and just send it. Well, let's see. How much copper do we need for one of these? Actually, it's going to say, isn't it? 20, so 14 copper plate. So this needs to process 14 times in the 14 seconds, and that's easy because it can do it 28 times. So we could just insert the copper cables across into, it's going to have to be onto a line. Let's make it an underground, going under a machine. Oops. So this machine is making green circuits. Oh, this has to go one more. Is this going the right way? Yeah, it's coming out. And this can pick up from there. It's going to pick up copper cables, and the copper cable is also going to supply the red machine for red circuits. And the green circuits need to go into the red circuits. Fine. Symmetry. Symmetry! Alright, the only other thing left for the electronic circuits is iron. Copper, the red circuits don't need any iron. Oh, yeah, we don't want to try and put the red circuits in the middle. Either way, we're looking at putting plastic coming up to the red circuits, or we're putting iron going up to the green circuits. And we'd rather have the red circuits insert directly into the whatever they're called, furnaces. And that makes it pretty easy to have the last two lines here both go into the furnaces. And those two lines having steel and stone brick on them. Pull from the stone brick at the end. Yeah. I'm just going to make sure I'm not going crazy here with what this needs to be doing. So this can go here to supply power. Should be fine. Put that there. Oh no, one more. We can actually just go a straight line for a short bit. This does need to go under. Fine, fine. So we still need the iron plate coming up here. Ideally, we change the situation so that these weren't here. I mean, no matter what, we can only fit one thing and a assembly machine between two yellow belts going down and back up. So if we wanted to move the assembly machine over, we're in order to get the inserter on that side, then we cause a problem here, getting the iron plate coming up. So I mean, we can do the underground trick again, having just 2 undergrounds here. I'd rather not do that. See, we can't. If we're going to have the copper come up straight, then we can't directly insert. And we can't directly insert the copper into the green chips unless we put the green chips closer. But we still need an inserter to go to some sort of line that comes over to the red chips. So we could try to get the green, or we'll get the iron over here. Well, I mean, it would fit right here, but if we're going to put it there, we can put it here. It doesn't really matter. If it's going to go underground, it can go underground anywhere. Did I have any undergrounds on this one? I did, but they were all inside the system. Can I get it inside the system here? If I put the copper on the inner side, yeah. Let's see what that looks like. So we'd be inserting onto the conveyor belt. It goes under in order to get picked up from both sides. This would be going under here. So it's not going to reach except to the middle. And we would want it to reach all the way. This is one of the problems with trying to get any space filled. I guess we could turn the copper cables and then pick from the turned spot. That doesn't really help any though. I mean, the only way to get the underground out from the system is to add another space between these two buildings, and I don't really relish the idea of that because I want to be able to directly input regardless. So I'm just going to do the underground trick. I'm going to put this back. And we'll go under here. Oh, all the way to there. So looking at an underground here to. Oh, I actually got rid of that one. Now this makes me regret this even more. Okay, so 2 undergrounds in the middle. This will work even if it's not beautiful. Alright, so in order to power this, we can get this here. We need an underground anyway. And that leaves plastic, which I want to have come through here. I can move this closer. Yeah, I put the plastic coming up here, and then I just pick it up with a long inserter there. Oh, I don't have those output yet. I'm going to have to figure that out in a second. So this worked really well, right? It picks up the plastic that inserts the red chip. If I want to insert off of these, I can actually go underground for a short period here, the actual amount that I want to, and insert onto lines here and here. Of course, that's going to make double the amount of furnaces on this line. You can add logic to the system if you didn't want that to be overproducing. Or if I didn't want it to, if I didn't want to mess up this beautiful symmetry, I can get them on the same side of the conveyor belt. You can just pick up how would I do that? Well, we'll leave it like that. I love the symmetry anyway. There are ways to do it, like with inserters, basically. So this will be plastic coming up. Plastic, stone brick, steel, plastic, and this one was copper. Am I missing? Oh, and this one's iron. Oh, I never inserted it. Oh, this can't go down that quick. Let's do it down there. And that powers everything there. Alright. I guess it's now the time of reckoning. Is this going to work? We'll find out in just a second. Yeah. Let's hope this works. I want to tear this one down real quick. Here, robots, go tear that down. So the purple one took up less space. It's only two final ingredients. It makes sense it would take up less space. I think this is good. Oh, I forgot the iron there. Oh, it was iron, right? There we go. Yeah, I just saw something go into one of them. What's missing? Oh, I don't have anything inserting steel. Insert, insert. How about you guys? Red chips, missing the plastic. Because this needs to go here and here instead. Alright. This will take a second to get going, right? Ooh. Mistake. Oh, big mistake, Ben. This needs 5 red chips. Which means I need to actually 5 red chips. It takes 6 seconds to make a red chip. Oh. This is a much longer assembly than I was thinking. So this is actually going to have to continue further along, doing exactly the same thing that this piece is doing. Oh. On the other hand, the red chips would be able to flow down the center. Alright, well, I'm going to chalk this one up to a little bit of a failure. I may fix it in the future, but I think the solution is to place, rather than trying to use this copper here, place the furnaces here on this side and have a few. How quickly does this need to produce? We need 5 red chips every 14 seconds. This will make 2 red chips. 2 of them make 4 red chips in the time. Almost 5. So the only way to get 5 would be to have 3 red chips being made for every furnace. So you would have the 3 red chips being made in some sort of assembly here, very similar to this. No reason to belabor this with that, but very similar to what's going on here. 3 red chips, and then send those down the middle to the red furnaces, or to the furnaces. Fill the furnaces, which would probably have this on the right hand side of them, and then deliver from the furnaces onto the new center like this, heading out to the electric engines. Now when this is done, the entire thing can just be copied and pasted so that you could have an infinite assembly of all this. Now obviously it's not done because I've neglected to get the red chips at the amount of production that they need in order for this to finish, but the idea is here. And certainly, pipes. Certainly with a little bit of effort, this could be finished. And you'll get, when it's finished like that, this will be operating at full speed. Is there did these get made? Are we still that far behind? Oh, the green chips didn't ever make it down either. Why not? Green chips are missing. Copper cable, which is... oh, well. That would make that hard to finish. Did this one make one? Missing an engine. Engine's missing a pipe. No, it has engines. Engines not inserting? Oh no, it's full on electric engines. Oh, I never inserted the electric engine. Look at that. Missing something on each of them. Okay. Now they have engines. The thing that they're missing is the furnaces, which should have made... oh, they're backed up here. Why are they backed up? It's going the wrong way. There we go. Alright. Oh man, I messed all of them up. That's what happens when you build from the left, right to the left. Alright, now they're operating. Alright, there you go. Purple science assembly. Nothing strewn across your map. All beautiful rectilinear designs. Yeah. Alright, that's it for design tonight. Hopefully I'll fix this for whenever I wanted to use it in the future. Alright, have a good night everyone.